10 most chilling prophecies for 2025, terrifying predictions from real seers and prophets. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. As 2025 approaches, whispers of prophecy grow louder. For centuries, mystics, seers, and ancient texts have foretold events that seemed impossible until they happened. But what about the warnings that have yet to unfold? In this video, we uncover 10 of the most chilling prophecies for 2025, drawn from ancient scriptures, visionary predictions, and eerie coincidences. From global upheavals to mysterious cosmic events, these revelations could change everything we know about the future. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. Your support helps us explore these hidden truths. And tell us in the comments, which of these prophecies do you believe is most likely to come true? 1. Nostradamus, the collapse of the world economy. Nostradamus, the enigmatic French seer whose quatrains have intrigued scholars and believers for centuries, is said to have predicted events with chilling accuracy, from the rise of historical tyrants to global catastrophes. In 2025, one of his most foreboding prophecies resurfaces. So high will the bushel of wheat rise that man will eat his fellow man. This haunting vision suggests a world where economic turmoil spirals so out of control that desperation and scarcity drive humanity to its breaking point. In our modern era, the warning signs are already present: rapid inflation, economic instability, soaring global debt, and supply chain disruptions. With nations struggling under the weight of financial crises and geopolitical conflicts, could 2025 be the tipping point toward a full-scale economic collapse? History reminds us of the devastating impact of financial catastrophes. The Great Depression of the 1930s left millions in poverty, while hyperinflation in countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela rendered currency worthless. However, unlike past economic crises, today's world is more interconnected than ever. A collapse in one major economy could trigger a domino effect, sending shockwaves through global markets and impacting even those who believe they are secure. The reliance on digital banking, stock markets, and international trade means that a financial disaster would not be confined to one region. It would be a planetary crisis. When economic systems fail, the consequences extend beyond numbers on a screen. They manifest in social unrest, crime waves, and even the collapse of governments. Fear and uncertainty breed chaos, and history has shown that in desperate times, human morality can erode under the weight of survival instincts. This prophecy, whether taken literally or metaphorically, serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of human civilization. "The greatest wealth is contentment with little," said the Buddha, urging us to seek stability not in material wealth, but in inner peace. If economic collapse looms, how can we prepare? Instead of succumbing to fear, we must cultivate resilience on both a personal and societal level. Strengthening local economies, embracing sustainable living, and prioritizing community support over individual greed can serve as safeguards against financial catastrophe. While we cannot control global markets, we can control our reactions and adaptability. Those who panic in times of crisis often suffer the most, while those who remain calm and think strategically find ways to endure. Perhaps this is the true lesson behind Nostradamus's grim vision, not just a warning of despair, but an urgent call for wisdom, simplicity, and preparedness. In the end, civilizations rise and fall, but those who cultivate awareness, compassion, and self-sufficiency will always find a way forward. 2. Edgar Cayce. The Earth's magnetic poles will shift. Edgar Cayce, famously known as the Sleeping Prophet, left behind a legacy of astonishing predictions, many of which have proven eerily accurate. Among his most chilling prophecies for 2025 is the warning of a dramatic shift in the Earth's magnetic poles, an event that could unleash chaos across the planet. Scientists have long observed that the poles are slowly drifting, but if a rapid shift were to occur, the consequences could be catastrophic. Imagine massive earthquakes reshaping continents, violent storms tearing through cities, and coastal regions swallowed by rising seas. Historical evidence suggests that pole shifts have happened before, leaving behind trails of devastation. If such an event were to take place in 2025, how would the world respond? Would humanity be prepared to face the upheaval, or would entire civilizations crumble under the weight of nature's fury? Some researchers warn that the effects could be unpredictable, turning once thriving cities into ghost towns, rendering fertile lands barren, and triggering an environmental domino effect that disrupts food supplies and economies worldwide. Could this be why ancient civilizations, from the Mayans to the Egyptians, seemed obsessed with celestial movements and planetary shifts? Perhaps they too foresaw a future where the balance of the Earth could change in an instant. Modern science confirms that pole shifts are real, but the timeline remains uncertain. Will 2025 be the year when Earth's magnetic field reaches a tipping point? If so, what steps should we take now to safeguard ourselves and our communities? The lesson here is not to live in fear, but to remain aware, adaptable, and connected to nature's rhythms. History has shown that the greatest civilizations rise and fall with the Earth's changes, but those who embrace knowledge, resilience, and unity will always find a way to survive. So, as we move forward, let's ask ourselves, are we truly prepared for what's to come? 3. Baba Vanga, a global cyber attack that paralyzes nations. Baba Vanga, the legendary Bulgarian mystic known as the Balkan Nostradamus, made predictions that have left the world in awe. From foreseeing the Chernobyl disaster to the September 11th attacks and the rise of artificial intelligence, many of her visions have sent shivers down the spines of those who study her prophecies. And now, as we step into 2025, one of her most chilling warnings looms over us, a devastating cyber attack so severe that it could paralyze entire nations. She once said, "The world will be plunged into darkness, and no man will know friend from foe." What could she have meant by that? Could we be on the verge of an unprecedented digital catastrophe that will change the course of human history? Consider this. What if, overnight, everything we depend on suddenly collapsed? Imagine waking up to a world where the power grid has failed, the internet is completely shut down, and every financial system is frozen. You reach for your phone. Nothing. You step outside, but ATMs refuse to dispense cash. Supermarket shelves are empty, hospitals are unable to function, and businesses grind to a halt. Without warning, the world descends into chaos as people scramble for resources, desperate to reconnect with loved ones and uncertain of who is in control. Is this what Baba Vanga foresaw? A world where the very technology that connects us becomes the weapon that divides us? Experts have long warned that cyber warfare is no longer science fiction. It is a battlefield as real as any fought with tanks and missiles. The United States, China, and Russia have poured billions into their cyber defense and attack capabilities, creating highly sophisticated digital arsenals capable of infiltrating and dismantling entire infrastructures with the press of a button. Just a few years ago, major cyber attacks disrupted global supply chains, paralyzed hospitals, and even hacked into government databases. If those were mere test runs, what happens when an all-out cyber war begins? Could 2025 be the year when global networks collapse, throwing nations into anarchy? The Buddha once said, "Nothing is permanent. Everything is subject to change. Being is always becoming." If our entire civilization now depends on the fragile threads of digital connectivity, what happens when those threads are severed? How prepared are we if tomorrow we lose access to our money, our jobs, our communication, and even our ability to trust the information we see? Would we still function as a society, or would we crumble into chaos? These are not distant possibilities, but urgent questions that demand our attention. Some believe that if such an attack were to happen, it would not be from a single nation, but from shadowy hacker groups working in the dark corners of the internet. Groups with no allegiance, no flag, and no moral compass, only the hunger for control. Governments worldwide are already on high alert, issuing warnings that a large-scale cyber assault is not a matter of if, but when. So as we move through 2025, we must ask ourselves, are we ready for a world where the lights go out, not because of war in the traditional sense, but because of a silent war waged in cyberspace? How much of our power have we unknowingly given away, and what would it take to reclaim it before it's too late? If you're still watching, you're already uncovering the most terrifying prophecies for 2025. Which one do you think could really come true? Comment 2025 Awakening below, but don't look away just yet. There are even more shocking revelations ahead. Stay until the end to see the full picture of what might be coming. 4. The Last Pope, the Prophecy of Saint Malachy. In the 12th century, the Irish bishop Saint Malachy made a prophecy that still sends shivers down the spines of many. He predicted that Pope Francis would be the last pope. According to his mysterious writings, after this final pope, the Catholic Church will face its darkest hour, and the world will be thrown into chaos. If this prophecy holds true, what does it mean for the future of faith, spirituality, and global stability? Could 2025 be the year that reshapes one of the most powerful religious institutions in history? With growing controversies within the Vatican, increasing secularism, and divisions even among believers, many are beginning to wonder if this ancient prediction is starting to unfold before our eyes. The Catholic Church, once seen as an unshakable pillar of faith, has faced a wave of internal struggles, from scandals that have shaken trust to doctrinal disputes that have split followers. As more people question traditional religious institutions, is it possible that we are witnessing the beginning of the end for the papacy? Yet, before jumping to conclusions, we must ask, are prophecies meant to be warnings rather than inevitable fates? History has shown us that belief systems evolve, adapt, and sometimes even transform completely. If 2025 does bring turbulence to the Catholic Church, could it also be an opportunity for renewal rather than collapse? Perhaps the message hidden in Saint Malachy's prophecy isn't about destruction, but about change, about an institution forced to confront its deepest flaws and emerge stronger. In times of uncertainty, faith, whether in religion, humanity, or a greater purpose, has always been a guiding force. The real question is not whether the prophecy will come true, but how we, as individuals and as a society, respond to the changes ahead. Do we let fear control us, or do we see challenges as chances for growth? The lesson here is clear. Nothing remains the same forever, and the power of belief lies not in clinging to the past, but in adapting to the future. 5. The Hopi Prophecy, the arrival of the blue star Kachina. The Hopi people, one of the oldest Native American tribes, have passed down sacred wisdom for generations, warning of a time of great purification before the dawn of a new world. Among their most well-known prophecies is the arrival of the blue star Kachina, a celestial sign that will mark the end of the current world cycle and the beginning of the fifth world. According to their teachings, when this mysterious blue star appears in the sky, it will serve as a final warning, a moment when humanity will face immense upheaval and be forced to choose between destruction and renewal. Some believe this prophecy could refer to a comet, an asteroid, or even an undiscovered cosmic body that could bring about catastrophic changes on Earth. With modern space agencies like NASA tracking thousands of near-Earth objects, the possibility of an unexpected celestial event disrupting life as we know it is not beyond reason. A large asteroid impact, for example, could trigger devastating tsunamis, global climate shifts, and mass extinctions, eerily mirroring the apocalyptic transformation described in the Hopi Prophecies. As we approach 2025, many wonder if we are inching closer to this foretold moment of reckoning. But beyond the physical implications, the deeper message of this prophecy urges us to reflect on the state of our world, rising conflicts, environmental destruction, and the increasing divide between people. The Hopi have always emphasized that prophecy is not just a prediction, but a warning and an opportunity. If humanity continues on a path of greed, ignorance, and destruction, a great cleansing will be inevitable. However, if we realign ourselves with nature, embrace compassion, and return to a way of life rooted in respect and harmony, we may yet shift the course of fate. The idea of a coming purification is not exclusive to the Hopi. Many ancient traditions across the world speak of cycles of destruction and renewal. Perhaps the real question is not if the blue star Kachina will appear, but whether we are prepared, spiritually, mentally, and collectively, to face whatever changes the future holds. Instead of fearing the unknown, we should see this as a call to action, a moment to make choices that will determine what kind of world we create for future generations. If the prophecy is true, then 2025 may not just be about celestial events, but a reflection of the world we have built. Will it be a time of darkness or a rebirth into something better? That choice, ultimately, is in our hands. 6. Mother Shipton, fire raining down from the skies. Throughout history, seers and prophets have warned of cataclysmic events, and one of the most chilling predictions for 2025 comes from Mother Shipton, a 16th century English prophetess whose visions eerily came true. She is said to have foretold the Great Fire of London, the rise of modern technology, and even transportation advancements long before they happened. But among her most haunting prophecies is one that speaks of fire raining down from the skies, a vision that has left many wondering if it could be a warning for our time. She wrote, "A fiery dragon will cross the sky 6 times before the earth shall die." What did she mean by this? Some believe this cryptic message points to a massive celestial event, a comet, an asteroid impact, or even a devastating solar flare that could unleash destruction upon the Earth. With modern science confirming that our planet is constantly at risk from space debris and unpredictable solar activity, could 2025 be the year her prophecy comes true? Some researchers speculate that a large asteroid, hidden within the vast darkness of space, could be on a collision course with Earth, undetected until it's too late. Others fear that a coronal mass ejection from the Sun, powerful enough to disrupt technology and set entire regions ablaze, might be the real threat lurking on the horizon. If such an event were to occur, how prepared are we? Could our technology withstand the sudden onslaught of fire from above, or would civilization be thrown into chaos? the terrifying thought lingers. Have we ignored the warnings of the past? And if Mother Shipton's vision was indeed a glimpse into our near future, what, if anything, can be done to prevent it? You've made it this far, which means you're ready to face the unsettling predictions for 2025. Which prophecy do you think is the most chilling? Drop "dark future" in the comments to let us know. And don't go anywhere. There are still more jaw-dropping predictions ahead. Keep watching to see what else awaits. 7. Rasputin's Vision, the Fall of a Nation. Gregory Rasputin, the enigmatic Russian mystic, was both feared and revered for his seemingly supernatural foresight. Known for predicting his own gruesome death and the collapse of the Russian Empire, his prophecies continue to intrigue and haunt historians and seekers of hidden knowledge. Among his most chilling predictions is the fall of a great nation, an event that some believe has yet to fully manifest. While many interpret his visions as foretelling the downfall of Tsarist Russia, others argue that his warnings could still be unfolding in the modern world. With global instability, political divisions, and rising conflicts, 2025 might be the year when this prophecy takes on new meaning. Nations once considered unshakable are now showing signs of internal fractures, economic struggles, social unrest, and external threats, all contributing to an atmosphere of uncertainty. The echoes of history remind us that no empire lasts forever, and even the mightiest nations can crumble under the weight of corruption, war, and societal decay. As we approach 2025, the world is witnessing an alarming rise in geopolitical tensions. Superpowers are engaged in economic battles, military confrontations are looming, and deep political rifts are widening both within and between nations. The struggle for dominance, fueled by competing ideologies and resources, is creating an increasingly volatile landscape. Could Rasputin's vision have been a warning about our present era? Some theorists suggest that his prophecy might not have been solely about Russia, but rather about any powerful nation that fails to heed the lessons of history. After all, history has shown that the decline of great empires often follows similar patterns: economic mismanagement, internal divisions, and external conflicts pushing them toward an inevitable collapse. If we look at the global stage today, we see warning signs everywhere: economic recessions affecting major economies, civil unrest spreading in various regions, and alliances being tested like never before. The world is at a tipping point, and 2025 could mark a crucial turning point where the fate of powerful nations hangs in the balance. But what does this mean for us as individuals? Prophecies, whether true or not, serve as reminders that no system is invincible and change is always on the horizon. Instead of fearing the unknown, we should focus on resilience, adaptability, and collective responsibility. When nations face turmoil, it is often the people who suffer the most. Economic downturns, political instability, and conflicts have real consequences on daily life, affecting jobs, safety, and overall well-being. While we cannot control the course of global events, we can prepare ourselves mentally, financially, and emotionally for uncertain times. Building strong communities, staying informed, and fostering compassion in our interactions can help us navigate whatever challenges the future may bring. History has shown that those who remain adaptable and united during times of crisis are the ones who emerge stronger. Rather than waiting in fear for a prophecy to unfold, let us take this as a call to strengthen our connections with each other, make wise decisions, and cultivate a mindset of preparedness and hope. Rasputin's vision may or may not come true in 2025, but the lessons hidden within it are timeless. Nations rise and fall, but human resilience and wisdom can shape a better future. 8. The Book of Revelation, a new plague or global pandemic. Throughout history, people have looked to ancient texts for clues about the future, and one of the most chilling prophecies comes from the Book of Revelation. It speaks of devastating plagues and widespread disease as signs of the end times. Could 2025 be the year another deadly pandemic emerges? Some believe this prophecy might come true sooner than we think. Scientists have long warned about the dangers lurking in our world: antibiotic-resistant superbugs, rapidly mutating viruses, and the unforeseen consequences of climate change and deforestation. As humans continue to encroach on untouched ecosystems, we risk exposing ourselves to unknown pathogens that could unleash chaos on a global scale. The recent COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of how quickly an invisible enemy can disrupt economies, overwhelm healthcare systems, and bring entire nations to a standstill. But what if something even deadlier is on the horizon? Experts fear that future outbreaks may be harder to control, especially as medical resources are stretched thin and misinformation spreads faster than the disease itself. Could this be the fulfillment of ancient warnings, or is it simply the result of human negligence and unpreparedness? If history has taught us anything, it is that the cycle of pandemics is inevitable. What matters is how we respond. Will we invest in stronger healthcare systems, global cooperation and scientific research, or will we continue to ignore the warning signs until it's too late? The message here is clear. While prophecies may predict doom, our actions determine the outcome. Instead of living in fear, we must take responsibility for our world, working together to prevent the worst and ensure a future where humanity can thrive. So, what do you think? Are these ancient prophecies a sign of things to come, or are they simply a reflection of challenges we've always faced? One thing is certain: how we prepare today will shape the world of tomorrow. 9. The Mayan calendar, a miscalculated prophecy. For years, people have speculated about the significance of the Mayan calendar, especially its so-called end in 2012. But what if that date was simply miscalculated? Some researchers and historians argue that due to errors in translating the ancient Mayan long count calendar to the Gregorian system, the actual transformative moment might be happening now, pointing to 2025 as the true moment of global change. But what does this mean for humanity? Ancient texts and indigenous wisdom often speak of great cycles of time, where civilizations rise and fall, consciousness evolves, and the world as we know it undergoes profound shifts. Some believe that 2025 could bring about a new era, whether through technological advancements like AI and genetic engineering, or through a deeper spiritual awakening that reshapes how we understand existence itself. Could we be standing at the threshold of something immense? Buddhist teachings remind us that impermanence is the nature of all things. Everything arises, transforms, and fades away. The Buddha once said, "Nothing is permanent. Everything is subject to change. Being is always becoming." If we view these potential changes through the lens of wisdom rather than fear, could it be that we are being presented with an opportunity rather than a catastrophe? As AI progresses at an astonishing rate, merging with human intelligence in ways never seen before, will it bring about enlightenment or dependency? As genetic engineering offers us the ability to alter life itself, will it lead to harmony or hubris? Perhaps the greatest transformation won't be external, but within, the awakening of a collective consciousness that moves beyond greed, division, and suffering. In many traditions, There is an understanding that great shifts in history are often accompanied by both destruction and renewal. If 2025 truly marks the beginning of such a transition, how can we prepare ourselves? Will we resist change out of fear, or will we embrace it with wisdom and mindfulness? The Mayans were not predicting an end, but a transformation, one that demands we take responsibility for our actions and our collective future. The real question is not whether the prophecy is real, but whether we are ready to meet whatever comes next with an open mind and heart. What do you think? Could this be the dawn of something extraordinary? 10. Padre Pio's 3 Days of Darkness. Padre Pio, the revered Catholic mystic, spoke of a terrifying prophecy: 3 days of absolute darkness that would engulf the world. He described a time when the air itself would become poisoned, and only those who remained indoors in prayer and faith would survive. This chilling vision has left many wondering, what could cause such an event? Could it be a massive failure of the global power grid, plunging cities into chaos? Or perhaps a nuclear catastrophe that releases deadly radiation into the atmosphere? Some believe this prophecy speaks of something even more supernatural, a divine reckoning that would force humanity to face its deepest fears. The concept of 3 days of darkness is not unique to Padre Pio. It appears in multiple spiritual traditions, from Christian eschatology to ancient apocalyptic prophecies, each warning of a period where the world is thrown into turmoil before a great transformation. But what does this mean for us today? Are these words merely symbolic, urging us to reflect on our own inner darkness, the fears, greed, and anger that cloud our minds? The Buddha once said, "We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think." If that is true, then perhaps the real danger lies not in an external catastrophe, but in the darkness we allow to grow within us. Could it be that the true lesson of this prophecy is not about fearing a literal event, but about preparing our hearts and minds for a spiritual awakening? When faced with uncertainty, do we react with fear, or do we cultivate wisdom and compassion? These questions challenge us to look beyond the prophecy itself and reflect on how we live our daily lives. If 3 days of darkness were to come, how would we respond? Would we fall into panic, or would we find strength in stillness and faith? The world is unpredictable, but our inner world is something we can shape. Perhaps the true warning is not about a coming disaster, but about the need to purify our own minds before we are consumed by the darkness of our own making. As we come to the end of this journey through some of the most chilling prophecies for 2025, one question lingers. Are these predictions warnings of an inevitable fate, or are they messages meant to guide us toward a better future? Throughout history, prophecies have served not only as glimpses into possible events, but also as reminders of the patterns that shape human civilization. Whether it's economic collapse, natural disasters, or the fall of great nations, these warnings encourage us to reflect on our world and the choices we make. But instead of living in fear, we should ask ourselves, how can we prepare, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually? The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." Perhaps the greatest lesson we can take from these prophecies is not to wait in fear for the future to unfold, but to cultivate wisdom, resilience, and compassion in our lives today. What do you think? Do these ancient predictions feel like eerie coincidences, or do they hold deeper meaning? Could they be warnings that humanity is repeating old mistakes, or are they simply reflections of our ever-changing world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, to support our exploration of mysteries, history, and timeless wisdom. And be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos, where we dive even deeper into the unknown. Thank you for watching, and remember, the future is not set in stone. It is shaped by the actions we take today. Stay curious, stay mindful, and continue your journey of wisdom. See you in the next video.